Hello, my name's Stephen, and this is Faith Ministries. I'm sure all of you have heard of artificial intelligence, AI, and the fact that whether we like it or not, big companies, social media, etc., are using AI to watch us and to guide us, etc., and what we look at. But today I want to look at an AI format that allows us to actually do Bible study and to look at Bibles, to look at the Greek, look at the Hebrew, etc. And that's what we're going to have a look at now. Artificial intelligence that I would like us to have a look at today is called Chat GPT. And part of it is called AI, as you can see here on the screen. And you can go to this website, openai.com, and you can have a look for yourself. And if you like, you can actually try it, as it says down here. And what I have done, I've set up an account, and the account actually opens up here with Chat GPT. And down the bottom, there's a lot of other modes and features you can look at yourself, but not going to do that today. But down here, we have a search bar. And you think, well, maybe it's a bit like a Google or a DuckDuckGo search bar. And you can do certain things like it. For example, you can go 1,000 or 10,398 plus 3, 4, 5, 6. And the sum of 10,398 and 3,456 is 13,954. So that's something you can do. That's very basic. Before we get into the Bible stuff, something you can do also, which I find really intriguing, is that, for example, if you had to make a speech at a wedding, for example, you can say, write a 100-word wedding speech for the bride. So write a 100-word wedding speech for the bride. And it comes out, dear friends and family, I'm overwhelmed with emotions. I stand here today marrying the love of my life. I'm so grateful to have all of you here to share in this special moment with us, etc., etc. It's a bride is actually written. I've wrote it the wrong way, but anyway, and you get the idea. So you can actually write speeches, you can do resumes, you can do job descriptions, you can whatever you like. It has been programmed to be able to come up with these sorts of sentence structures and articles and things. But what I also have a look at today is what is the King James Version Bible. Enter. It comes up with an explanation of the King James Version Bible is an English translation of the Bible that was commissioned by the King James I of England and was completed in 1611, known as the Authorized Version because it was a version of the Bible that was authorized for use in the Church of England. King James Version is considered by many to be one of the most beautiful and accurate translations of the Bible in the English language. It had a significant impact upon the development of the English language and literature. It is still widely available today, etc. And you can do that. You can say, compare the King James Version with the New American Standard Bible. And it comes out with the King James Version and the New American Standard Bible are both English translations. They seek to accurately translate the original Hebrew, Aramaic, and Greek text into English, but they differ in some key ways. One key difference between the King James and the New American Standard is their translation philosophy. And King James Version follows a formal equivalence approach, which aims to translate the words and structures of the original text as closely as possible. This will result in more literal translations that may be less readable for modern audiences. In contrast, the New American Standard Bible follows a dynamic equivalence approach, which seeks to translate the meaning of the original text as accurately as possible. That's then it goes on, looks at that. That's interesting, isn't it? Because I've always thought that the New American Standard Bible, especially the latest one, is more as at least equivalent to the former equivalents of the King James, and maybe even more literal than the King James in many ways. But as it says, this is a learning program, and it's not always 100% accurate, but it gives you a great starting point. Okay. The second thing I want to do is, so we can compare two verses. Let's just choose, say, John chapter 1, verse 1, compare let's say the English Standard Version with the Legacy Standard Version. It says in the, oh, that's interesting, it's come up with the King James. First, it says, in the beginning was the Word, and the Word was with God, the Word was God. And then it comes with the English Standard. In the beginning was the Word, and the Word was with God, the Word was God. And then the Legacy, oh, this is the Lexham English Standard Version. Okay, I got it wrong. In the beginning was the Word, and the Word was with God, and the Word was fully God. So you are able to, if you take the time to actually, you can put in different verses, you can put in different scriptures, and ask the actual artificial intelligence program to compare them for you without you actually having to look them up online. Now another one I want to have a look at is Genesis chapter 1, verses 1 to 5 in the interlinear Bible. So here is the Genesis 1, 1 to 5 in the interlinear format with the original Hebrew text followed by an English translation. So what they've done, as you can see, they've got the actual Hebrew. If you can read Hebrew, they've got that. Then it gives you the English, and then it goes on to actually give you the actual other verses as we go along. So while that's playing out, you can see it actually gives you quite a good tool to actually have a look at, to compare. You can do that with the Greek in the New Testament, as well as any verse in the Hebrew in the Old Testament, also as an interlinear. Now, one other thing, because you've got the Hebrew there, we can actually go to this particular word here, and you can highlight it, and that is the word for Elohim, for God. And if we come down the bottom here in the text in, we can say number of times, and we can paste, occurs in Bible or Old Testament. Number of times it occurs in the Old Testament. So the Hebrew says here, the Hebrew word Elohim appears in the Old Testament a total of 2,575 times. Hebrew word is often translated as God in English. Here is referred to one of the true God of the Israelites, etc. And it comes down here and talks about often used in conjunction with other Hebrew words such as Adonai, Lord, Yahweh, the Lord, and El, God, to express different aspects of God's nature or character. That's just a short video. But what I wanted to show you was, as you saw, is that this is using this Chat OpenAI. Not only can you do other things that other people do, like writing computer code or writing speeches or resumes or whatever, but you can actually start doing Bible studies, studies of verses, finding a number of times verses occur in the Bible, comparing different translations. You can even ask it if you come across a Bible that you're not sure about, what about this particular Bible? What are the good points of it? What are the bad points? Now, it's not an exhaustive thing. They've only been teaching it for a number of years, for a short time, and it only goes up to 2021. But it is a really interesting resource to have a look at and to play around with it. So I take the time, got a spare day or two or hour or two, take the time, log in, create an account and log in and have a play around with it and have a look at it and see whether or not you can actually use it in your own Bible studies or in preparing even messages, etc. Because what I found was I was actually able to type in there at another time an offering message for church, to taking up the tithes and offerings, etc. And I asked for one that's about 100 or 200 words long to do with the offering, mention a particular scripture, and it just printed it all out, wrote it all out nicely. It's saves us a lot of energy, but makes us a bit lazy, I guess, but it gives it a good starting point as to where to go, and we're not overwhelmed by the amounts of information that comes from things like Google and other search engines. Hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please like, subscribe, and share so more people may see it. And until next time, God bless.